The very severe cyclonic storm Pilin has moved northwestward direction in the past 24 hours. Presently, it lays centered at 16.5 degree north latitude and 88.0 degree east longitude. That means it is about 450 kilometers away from the coast of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. With reference to Gopalpur, it is 450 kilometers southeast of Gopalpur. The storm intensity is at the T scale T6.0, meaning that it has a wind speed of about 200 to 220 kilometers per hour. It is likely to hit the Odisha coast, Odisha-Andhra coast between Kalingapatnam and Paradip, with the center around Gopalpur by about 6 p.m. of 12th October, and meaning that the coastal Odisha and north coastal Andhra Pradesh, particularly the 5 districts Jagatsinghpura, Puri, Ganjam, Khurda and Srikakulam, will get the maximum impact of this cyclone, facing wind speed of about 200 to 220, gusting up to 230 kilometers per hour. Heavy to very heavy rainfall and along these areas, but some parts of Odisha may have even extremely very heavy rainfall. That means about 25 centimeters in 24 hours. Very to heavy rainfall is going to be larger area. The storm surge of about 3 meters is also likely, but the maximum storm surge is around the Ganjam district. In the approach of this Pilin, the rainfall has already started over the coastal AP and parts of Odisha. It will further increase from the evening today, and the wind speeds will also catch up by evening and will further intensify of the order of 100 kmph during night of today. The rainfall and wind will accentuate in the morning and during the day of 12th, reaching up to 150 to 200 kilometers per hour, and heavy to very heavy rainfall over widespread Odisha and the adjoining regions. And after the cyclone crossing the coast in the evening of 12th, it will weaken into cyclonic storm but remain for quite a while, causing rainfall in interior parts of India, eastern India, impacting North Chhattisgarh and South Jharkhand particularly, where heavy to very heavy rainfall is also expected. Thereafter, it will further move northwestward as a depression, causing rainfall in states like Gangetic West Bengal, Bihar, eastern UP. As a matter of fact, Gangetic West Bengal will get the rainfall even at the time when it is crossing the coast. This is the large scenario. The storm surge of about 3 meters is likely around the Odisha coast, particularly Ganjam and adjoining areas.
Sir, you have said that it's around 210 to 220 and gusting up to 230, and the T scale is around 6.5.
6.0.
So it's as good as super cyclone because it's around 220.
It is just touch and go. Super cyclone is about 220, gusting up to 250, and so, and T number 6.5. Very consciously and very strictly we are monitoring. It is we do not contemplate that it will further intensify. It will remain as very severe cyclonic storm. The outer bands, they are already approaching the landmass, leading to entrailment and also frictional drag, which will not allow further intensification of the system. As a matter of fact, there are possibilities of slightly reduction in the wind, but at the same time, because energy are constantly occurring, therefore we are maintaining a speed of 200 to 220 kmph, gusting up to 230, and remaining as very severe cyclonic storm.
And would a storm surge at 3 meter, or it can be also more than that?
There is a general consensus 3 meter. Since the Chilka is also in the area likely to be impacted by the cyclone, but fortunately we do not see very high, but slight shift in the landfall position can alter the guess, because the storm surge is function of many things. It is not only the place, it is the geography, and then rainfall, and then preceding that the total impact is something different. But storm surge of 3 meter on an average. Yes, ma'am.
So how severe is it?
Okay.
Carry on.
Please.
How severe is the storm expected to be, and can there be any damage expected, and have you issued any warnings?
The storm has quite a high damage potential. Considering the wind speed greater than 200 km per hour would mean that loose objects may fly. The extensive damage to agriculture crops, horticulture crops, definitely. There is also possibility of breaking communication, and those kind of towers, because of wind of that order, may cause damage to them. In terms of rainfall, because heavy rainfall over larger parts definitely may cause a flood-like situations, coupled with storm surge, which may inundate the coastal area of the height of about 3 meter. So compounded impact of the three things is having quite a good damage potential. Also, the disruption of rail and road traffic because of extensive flooding and high wind speed is also possible. Flooding of escape route may compound the problem for the management of the disaster-related aspects.
Any warnings issued by the department?
Yes, we have issued warnings to all the stakeholders, including state governments of both Odisha and Andhra Pradesh.
Sir, you expect this to cause more damage than Neelam, which occurred in last year?
Neelam, the wind speed was less. Neelam damage was because of the post rainfall. It remained as low pressure and caused a very heavy rainfall in other parts. But that kind of rainfall scenario we are not contemplating for an elongated period. That was a very elongated period.
So, but with regard to the damage, whether it would intensify or not?
Well, in terms of damage to agriculture, because the crops are at maturity stage, and since we have been issuing warnings for last 3 days, I mean the things farmers have been advised to take precautionary measures. But still, the things which are there in open are subjected to, they are very vulnerable.
So will it be more impactful than the storm that happened in 1999? That's one of the storms. And do you still think that this can be more than super cyclone?
It is very difficult to relate to cyclone and their possible impacts. They are different entities, and their crossing point in the coast matters a lot. At the same time, there is a good semblance both in terms of time and intensity. So yes, there is some similarity, definitely.
Would it be right to call it a super cyclone? That's what I'm trying to understand.
No, not right to call it super cyclone. Till it does not cross the threshold of 6.5, we don't call it.
Sir, is there any scale you measure the size? Somewhere it is reported it's half of the size of the country or something like that. Is there any
Not really. There are two confusions which are prevailing. The different cyclones, they have different radius. This is pretty voluminous, I would say, but not as the size of country or half the size or double the size. It is about 400 to 500 kilometer length and breadth. Right. And it keeps increasing, decreasing. So that is what it is. And as far as the rate of movement is concerned, it is 15 kilometer per hour. When we say that it is 200 kilometer per hour, that is the wind speed associated with the cyclonic storm and not the rate of the movement of the cyclone.
It is a centrifugal force moving circular force.
Well, we in terms of wind speed, let us confine to the wind speed. That is more comprehensive to the public at large.
Sir, I want to ask you, when was the first warning really issued? The reason I'm asking this is so that we know exactly how much time the administration has to prepare itself for this attack.
As you know that it became a low pressure on 8th, and since then we are monitoring and we the IMD issued a bulletin that it is likely to become depression, and so therefore because Andaman and Nicobar was first impacted as depression, lot of rainfall was there, advisories and warnings were issued for them.
So on the 8th, you see?
On 8th, and it became
For cyclone, we started from 9.
9th.
Warning for cyclone.
Because the protocol of the issuance of warnings is different for cyclone, and we predicted that it is likely to become cyclone on 9th. That was predicted, and thereafter the track also consistently we have been giving Kalingapatnam to Paradeep and later on June to the Gopalpur.
So they've had good 3 days to prepare themselves.
Very good 3 days.
I think it's much better than preparation of 99.
Oh, definitely much better. And that would definitely mean in terms of minimizing the impact of properties and life.
I think, sir, then it was only 1 day or 2 days.
True.
What has changed since 1999? Because he asked that question in terms of the science that you are deploying. Is it better instruments that you're using? or-
Definitely our observational capabilities have increased both over the ocean and atmosphere through satellite and other modes of observations. And in terms of modeling, there are tremendous impacts, tremendous developments. We are now deploying better models and better post-processing tools to assess track intensity forecast as well as the associated meteorological fields predictions.
So, would you know how many people would have already been evacuated from the coastal area?
Evacuation process, I have been in constant touch with the chief secretaries of both the governments. We have very frequent interactions. Process has already begun.